Behavioralism, Observable Behaviors and Factors that Influence Behavior by Alexandria, Megan, Michelle, and Molly. What is behavioralism? Behavioralism is a favorable response to an external stimuli. Classical conditioning was Pavlov's theory was a descriptive technique which began in 1987 with Pavlov's interest in digestion studies with dogs, whereas operant conditioning was in the 1930s and B.F. Skinner studied the behaviors of rats and their behavior response to food rewards or punishment using a shock. There are 4 stages to classical conditioning. Accusation, the initial learning of the conditioned response with a stimulus. My dog Rufus gets a treat and a verbal praise, good boy, for bringing his red ball after I throw it. Extinction, disappearance of the conditioned response to the stimulus. I discontinue the treat and verbal praise, and he stops bringing the red ball. Generalization, the conditioned response may result with a similar stimulus. I tell Rufus to get the ball in the same excited tone as if praising him. Rufus will bring his red ball and green ball after I throw it. Discrimination. The conditioned response may result with one stimulus but not another. Rufus will not bring his cloth squeaky toy but will bring his toy ball for a treat. Operant conditioning is the reinforcement of behaviors by rewards or punishment. Punishment, any stimuli that reduces or discourages a behavior to make that behavior stop. Positive punishment, any disciplinary action. Child hits another student at school and is suspended for 3 days from school. Negative punishment, removing a rewarding stimuli. Child doesn't do their homework, loses all electronic time. Rewards, any stimuli, positive or negative, that strengthens a behavior to make that behavior continue. Positive reinforcement is when a child does his or her homework and gets minutes of electronic time. Negative reinforcement, child learns to raise his or her hand in class to stop getting delayed recess time. Punishment, any stimuli that reduces or discourages a behavior to make that behavior stop. Positive punishment is any disciplinary action. Child hits another student at school and is suspended for 3 days from school. Negative punishment, removing a rewarding stimulus. Child doesn't do homework, so loses all electronic time. Strengths of behavioralism include that behavioralism is based on observable behaviors, can be measured, data is quantitative and scientific, can be reliably reproduced experimentally, and can be applied to all age groups and can be used in a variety of different practice settings. This makes the theory very diverse and easy to apply. Some of the limitations of behavioralism includes that it gives providers the authority, which interferes potentially with a client's self-determination, which is one of the values in social work. It focuses on current behavior and actions and fails to look into past history. Parts of this perspective ignore the social, cognitive, and emotional aspects of behavior. It focuses on micro level at the person functioning and neglects to include macro systems. It doesn't look at internal influences. Many of the experiments were performed on animals, which is a limitation because not everything in animals and people is consistent. One of the big differences being the use in language, which could affect the application of this theory. Practice settings that use behavioralism. Within the classroom setting, teachers place a high importance on enforcing appropriate behavior rather than inappropriate behavior. For interaction in the classroom, the teacher then observes changes in the child to identify if progress is being made. In the mental health profession, they apply behavioralism through CBT. CBT helps with addressing unhealthy or inaccurate thoughts. Practice with ASD clients is similar to behavioralism in the classrooms, except it is not a mentalist approach. Durham states behavior is dependent on stimulus response connections and that new behaviors are learned through mechanisms of stimulus discrimination reinforcement. Roles with diverse client systems. Since diversity has shifted drastically to extensive gender, cultural, religious, and other identities, behavioralism as a concept is not as defined. Psychologists are still attempting to change their methods for various client systems since they must consider the identities that are beyond the person in front of them. Therefore, it is an always shifting concept, so therapists must learn how to understand their clients and what interventions are best utilized for them. The behaviors of a client are diverse according to their identity. So therapists must learn how to help their clients on their behavior identification. However, behavioralism can be applied for clients of all ages. It is a concept that psychologists can use that is easily understood for all age groups, especially through CBT. Even still, therapists still need to apply skills to other populations and give attention to diverse populations. There is still a lack of research on how to use CBT, particularly with diverse clients outside of age. So therapists must research behaviors with differing cultures, genders, and other backgrounds to provide the best approach for each diverse group.